Persona time. Load it up. I think something big is about to happen pretty soon. Okay, the second I get in, nice. I think something big is about to happen soon. Don't know exactly how soon. Yeah, I got negative money. Okay. Let's go work today. Let's work some part-time, get some charm and courage. Let's go! Okay, didn't level up yet. But that's something. That was something. You know, leveling up everything at the same time, except academics. Because why would we ever level up academics, right? Why?
Morning.
Good morning. This sucks. I spent so much time thinking about ghost stories that now I have nightmares. How's the research going? I think she's the main one doing the research, so. It's going, but there are so many stupid rumors going around that it's tough trying to make sense of this whole thing. I did get some useful info though, so I plan on digging even deeper today. Try to remember what you find out at school, okay? I gotta remember what I find out at school. Can you do that for me? It's been a day. It's been 2 days since last time I played. Woo. Okay, let's go see what we can find out story-wise before we bazinga. Oh, their dialogue is finished. Any roofers? Bruh. I don't think they're saying anything too important. Remember that. Remember everything you're hearing everybody say. Rooftop. And there's nobody up here. Okay. Go back down. Is there anybody that's willing to give me some very crucial information? I guess not. Let's see what else there is going on today. Okay, we're gonna go hang out with the magician outside of our classroom. Let's go. Let's level up. This isn't good. What you mean? You can talk in private about your professor?
Hey, man. Sorry to make you come here. Damn it.
Are you in trouble?
Yeah.
Holy, level up.
Dude, it's bad. I don't know what to do. The school found out about Emiri and me. It blew up and became this huge thing.
Holy.
And now she's being transferred to a school in Kyushu. What do I do?
You gotta follow your dreams. You should go with her. You two should talk it out. Go with her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Holy!
I want to.
You actually thought that. Nah, you're an idiot.
Emiri said I can't. It's like all of a sudden she won't answer my calls or reply to my texts.
I mean,
She's
it makes sense.
probably only doing this to protect me, but still. I can't just sit here and do nothing. I gotta think of a plan, and I'm gonna need your help.
I don't know about me helping you or anything like that. Wait, we're at level 8 already? Holy
See you
fusions.
soon. Thanks for hearing me out today.
Yo, we almost got him maxed out. That's really good. We max him out, then we never have to hang out with him again. And then, how do we meet the sun guy?
Welcome back.
Sup, dude? Saw it. Come to think of it, the crops I planted on the rooftop should be ready to harvest by now. Ooh, rooftop! Yes, sir. I don't want HP. I gotta go to that flower shop. I forgot where it is though. I forgot where the flower shop is. And I wonder if I can go there like now. Come on, let me buy something. No! Okay. Flower shop. Strip mall. Man. None of these look like flowers. Kitchen. Ramen. Sweets. Sky. Why? Beef bowl. Oh! Yo, the game I'm here to watch. Nice. Welcome in. Net Cafe. Wait, Volunteer, where can I get the seeds to plant some stuff at? I don't think it's here. Hey, at the flower shop. Okay. Not at night. I don't even know where the flower shop is. Is that the station? What the heck was it called? Okay, well, what else could I be doing right now? I would like to get my charm up, but I don't think there's anything that's gonna get my charm up right now. Never mind. Come on, Takaba. Like I'm gonna romance Takaba until I meet Aegis, and if I like Aegis, then we'll switch to her. Cause I'm built like that. Yes, sir! I'm smooth. I'm literally smooth. I'm 2 ranks away now. Okay, after school we'll go to the flower station, buy some SP stuff. Do you remember what we're doing today? We're gonna share our findings about the ghost stories tonight. Looking forward to it. Bro, what's up, Mako? Yeah. Wait, don't say, how are you still in June? I've been playing other games. I played Deadlock, and today we played Mecha Chameleon, dude. How far are you? Literally, I've been live for 6 hours. 7:20-ish? You're barely ahead of me.
Did you two ask around like we agreed?
Huh? Were we supposed to do something by today?
I told you.
You went live for 8 hours today? See, I didn't play the game at all today.
Man.
It takes forever. Yeah, it's a long game. And Persona 5 is even longer.
Then we'll meet in the lounge after school.
Okay?
Don't forget.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
This feels longer than P5. It is definitely not longer than P5. That is not true information.
Hey.
All right, flower shop. Now, where is the flower shop? Topia. What difficulty are you on? I'm on hard. I'll be on the hard mode. I ain't seen the flower shop. Sweets. Beef bowls. Neck. Yo. At the station? Am I not at the station? Oh, Port Island Station. Bruh. Outskirts is probably. What difficulty are you playing on, Mako? Well, what's going on over here? I have never been here. You're also playing on hard? It's dark down there. Bro, what? What is that? Okay. Okay, let's go here then. Have you met Aegis yet? Flower shop. Okay, here we go. A bundle of beautiful roses might please someone. This isn't SP though. I don't think. Yes, she's goated. Tartarus makes this game way too long. Yeah, it's kind of like boring a little bit, right? It'd be a little boring sometimes. But it'll be worth it one day. But once you get to the top of Tartarus, then you're good. Then you're good. Wait, but did you already beat? He beat Persona 5? You're good with ramen, right? Yeah, let's go get ramen. This dude's still upset.
Hey man, I was gonna wait to tell you this until we sit down to eat, but I've decided to go to Kyushu with Emiri. So this'll be the last time we have ramen together.
Are you serious?
Emiri? Who's that she's with?
Oh, she's with another guy. You beat it a month ago on stream. This game is not as long as Persona 5. There's no way. There's no way. It's you are taking longer to beat this game.
I didn't think he'd get so serious about it.
Holy.
He's just a kid. He must
It
have
feels
misunderstood.
longer. Yeah, it's probably because of the.
Track record as a
Actually,
teacher. He should be grateful.
he should be grateful. GG. Took 150 hours on PS. You're not on the 150. Okay, I think what it is the beginning of this game probably feels slower than Persona 5 because there's less things to do. I feel like there's way more places you can go in Persona 5 and way more little things that you can do. I think the beginning of this game is very like you have to go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, and then you can explore more, but you can't really explore that many different places. I think.
Like he's the one who spread the rumors, and now other students are.
It sounds like Takuba's voice actor.
We'll celebrate our wedding soon enough.
Wedding!
I can't
I
wait.
know I'm 30 hours in P3 and I'm only in July.
So I guess today was.
I
the
think
day
it
she
speeds
was
up.
leaving. I had no idea.
Wait, isn't Persona 5 like a year and a half of like in-game hours and this game is only 1 year? Maybe that's why.
I was so excited about going with her that I.
It's okay, bro. You can find somebody your age. Ha ha. Cheer up, man. There's other girls. Yeah, but isn't that instant kills, so it's longer, true. The Tartarus part, at least. Cheer up, man. You're good.
Stop it! Why are you trying to make me feel better? You should be laughing at me. Such an idiot. Stupid idiot. I should have known this would happen. It was so obvious she wasn't serious about it.
I mean, that it was so obvious. He's running away, holy. What are you running to, bro?
Why, Emmy Reed? Why?
What a freaking goober! No. My controller.
Now my nose is running. Thanks. If you weren't here, I'd...
We're leveling up again? Holy level 9! Yo, what? I literally hung out with him yesterday. Okay, one more time and then we're level 10. Jeez. Have you maxed anybody out yet, Mako?
Okay, as we agreed on Monday, we'll now hold a meeting to discuss what we've learned.
Wow, you're really into this.
Of course I am. I got lots of good info.
You got 2 people
Turns out
already?
There was no angry ghost involved.
Oh, so that's what's important, huh?
First off,
Well, you are
let's
also
talk about
a
how
month
this rumor
and a
got
half
started.
further
The girl
than
was
me.
found on the school grounds, so it does.
Okay. Kenji and Odagiri. I don't know who those people are,
Let's
actually.
match the ghost story on that point. But why
I don't know who
did the
those
rumor
people
spread
are.
so fast if this was the first time anything happened?
Wait, I gotta read that again. The girl. Wait, you just talked to freaking Kenji. Wait, that's her. That's his name. I just think of his last name as like Toma something. Toma something. I don't. He's Toma. That's how they describe him. Okay. The girl was found on the school grounds, so it doesn't match the ghost story on that point. But why did the rumor spread so fast if this was the first time anything happened? Three victims.
Correct. But yeah, I was surprised.
Kenji,
when I
bro.
found out.
Kenji, bro.
That first incident, the exact same thing happened to 2 other students.
No,
All 3 victims
Toma,
had to
Toma.
be hospitalized. No wonder people thought it was a ghost.
What if I get these wrong? What's the
Moving
point?
on. The victims were all in different classes, and at first glance, they don't seem to be connected. But they did have one thing in common. Anyone know what it was?
What is this? A quiz show? Do you know? What did all 3 victims have in common?
Is this important to get right, chat? They went to our school. No idea. 3? I mean, this is what I'd pick because I didn't pay attention. I don't know if they hung out together. Am I gonna miss something?
Come on.
Bruh.
Hello? We already know that. They hung out.
I was gonna
together,
pick that
remember?
one second.
Not just once or twice either. They all got in with a bad crowd and were always out late. Considering they all ended up the same way, it can't just be a coincidence. So, to find out what happened, we're gonna do some field research.
What? Field research?
Why are you quizzing me?
Yep, there's one place where all 3 victims were regulars.
Diego's so tough. True.
Whoa, hang on. You're not talking about that spot behind Port Island Station, are you?
Oh, you know about it?
No, dude, no. No, dude, stop.
Dude, you can't go there. I've heard all kinds of nasty rumors about that place.
Fraudikari
Oh, really? Well, then all the more reason we should go together.
is evil and shouldn't be trusted.
You're coming with.
Bro, what? Of course I'm coming. She's not
we're talking.
Fraudikari.
Oh man.
How is the
Oh,
romance
this-
with Chihiro
this is
going,
seriously
Mako?
bad news. Do we really have to go there?
Up until now, all we've done is follow orders. Isn't it about time we start thinking for ourselves?
We
I know what you
Puka
mean,
on
but-
top? What the
Man,
fuck?
you have to say it like that. I guess I don't have a choice, do I?
Then it's settled. We'll go tomorrow night, so plan accordingly.
Shady tomorrow night. Okay. Let's do it. My hair is really knotted right here.
Jeez.
I told you it wasn't a ghost story. There's no way they exist. You're right. You about to see reason 100 why we hate Fraud Car. Okay. I'm down to see it. If there's actually a reason to hate her, let me see it. And let me see why Aegis is better. Because I think that's going to be the only other option for me. Ooh, let me go plant my seeds. Planting my seeds. Okay. But I don't think I can work today. But we could probably pay attention to all this. Okay? I am paying attention. I think I can only work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Ah! Okay, let's go sing some karaoke, get my courage up. Let's go. As you know why. Tonight is the night. I have to remember that I have plans tonight, so I got to do things earlier today. After school. Okay, I can't hang out with anybody here today, apparently. Except Chihiro. You moved off Chihiro. If you moved off Chihiro, that's bad. If you moved off Chihiro, it's bad. You came on my dad day. Feeling go closer. Thank you. I can't
take it anymore. Mom and Dad
Luca, just my queen.
fighting. I begged them
I haven't even met her yet.
fighting so much, but they told me to leave them alone.
Holy terrible parents, bro. Why are you talking to your kid like that?
I made up my mind. I have to run away from home.
Just remember what happened tonight was only Yukari's idea. Bruh. Don't do it. Calm down. It's up to you. Like, on the good side of running away, she's less likely to get abused by her parents. But on the bad side, she isn't old enough to be self-sufficient. And it could also come back on me if they find like out that I'm the one that told her to leave, right? But I mean, there's no way in this game they would track it to me because this is a side quest. But like, don't do it. Your parents love you.
Why not? I thought you were on my side. I'm going to run away. I already said so. I better start packing soon. Hey, what should I bring if I'm running away from home? I need lots of snacks, right? And my insurance card?
Insurance? That should be good. That should be enough. It'll take more than that. Am I gonna cause her to die if I... Yo. That should be enough.
Really? Wow! Running away is easier than I thought.
Yo, what are we teaching?
Just gotta decide when to sneak out.
I want my kids to play Persona, but maybe not this one because I don't want my kids running away because they're upset slightly.
Either way, I'm gonna give it a try. Don't worry, I'll be just fine, okay? I'm gonna miss playing with you, though.
Level 5. Level 6. Dang, we moving.
When I run away, Mom and Dad will have to work together to find me. This is gonna be great. I gotta make sure I'm ready to go.
Holy. Alright, let's see, Mako. Let's see what's about to happen.
All right, it's time. Let's get going.
Shouldn't we talk about this some more? I still think this is a bad idea. How are you scared of ghosts, but totally fine with this?
Because stuff you can't see is way creepier.
Actually, I'm more worried about the things I can see, like bats and knives.
True. I can't see why to be
Big
scared of it.
deal, so it's a little dangerous. Come on, let's strike while the iron's hot.
She's not a fraud, bro.
Like,
After you. She's evil, bro.
oh, now I'm the leader?
We should try gathering information at the outskirts of the station. Wait, they're actually following me in real life. Holy. Let's see what they have to say.
Precisely.
Are all three of you heading out together? Take care not to get injured.
Yo.
You guys going out at this hour? I don't know what you're up to, but just avoid going anywhere dangerous. Is this foreshadowing? I feel like I'm getting hella foreshadowed right now. Head to the back alley. Okay. I gotta walk all the way there.
Wait, seriously?
Would you stop complaining already? It'll be nothing. All we have to do is take a monorail to the station. What's so hard about that? It's not exactly what I meant by not easy. You know, you Catan, you might actually be scarier than the punks we're bound to run into. How? This looks like a pretty bad place.
The hell are these guys? Check out those rags. They're from Gecko High.
Oh man, this is even worse than I thought.
You must have taken a wrong turn. 'Cause this place ain't for you, buddy.
Well, I...
What I'm saying is, you being here is ruining our vibe. Beat it, goatee.
Goatee? Oh, you mean me.
We don't need your permission to be here.
Hey, are you nuts? Read the room, won't you?
We got swords. We can kill
I
them.
can read just fine. Come on, don't be intimidated by these punks.
What'd you just say?
Well, I mean,
She just called us punks.
well, in like real life, she really shouldn't be talking like this. But because they got personas, right, and they can summon them in this world, they'll be fine, right?
Come on. Let's post some pictures that'll make her daddy cry. Hope you've been practicing your sexy poses.
Man, you ain't gonna touch us.
Oh boy, that's too good.
Bruh.
These guys are scum.
Oh, so now we're scum, huh?
He didn't say anything.
Man, I feel sorry for you, goatee. This bitch is a real pain in the ass, isn't she?
Okay. Right.
Junpei!
That's enough.
Ooh.
They didn't know what they were getting into. I'll make sure they leave. You good with that?
Who do you think you are, dumbass? They're not walking out of this. You want some too?
Junpei, no my goat. But look at our other goat.
Should we find out?
No? Or maybe not.
Oh man, what a loser.
Bastard. Your name's Aragaki, right? Yeah. Now I remember. Shinjiro Aragaki. You're from Gecko High too, aren't you?
Why he dressed like that?
Damn it, you're gonna regret this.
Bruh, fine. If this won't convince more, later on will.
Man, senpai.
Fradkari's evil and not to be trusted.
I
Bro.
remember you. You guys were in Aki's room at the hospital.
Bro.
You idiots.
Well, in reality, he really should have approached her for talking instead of him. I haven't played this game. Like, y'all, you guys hate on freaking Takaba for no reason. No, she's doing nothing wrong, bruh. Okay, not nothing, but that wasn't her fault. He should have focused on her for talking back in the way that she did to him instead of talking to Goatee. Facts.
Go home. You don't belong here.
Hey.
Wait! Sorry, but there's something we need to know before we leave.
You don't hit women.
Bruh.
Did Aki tell you to come here?
Bro. These guys don't care. These guys are in a bad part of town. They'll hit girls. What you mean? My hair is so tangled up. I need to put some detangling stuff in it. Sorry, but there's something we need to know before we leave. Did Aki tell you to come here? Okay. Yeah, sorta.
That dumbass. Well, what do you want to know? Is this about that ghost story?
Yes, that's right. How'd you know?
The rumor's been going around. Those girls who wound up in the hospital were here talking shit every night. They'd brag about all the stuff they did to some girl named Yamagishi.
Oh, snap.
Yamagishi?
Fuka!
You mean Fuka Yamagishi from 2E?
Hold on.
They were picking on her?
That's why people are saying it's Yamagishi's ghost that did it.
Hold on.
Yamagishi-san's ghost? Wait, what do you mean by that?
You guys don't know? This Yamagishi girl might be dead. I heard she hasn't been home in over a week.
Wait, what? I thought she was just out recovering. So, you mean she's still missing?
So much for that ghost story. Mr. Akota is the homeroom teacher for 2E, right? Does he know about this?
I get it, Aki. Still trying to make up for the past. It's you who can't let go.
Huh?
Nothing. Anyways, it's all I know. We done here?
Yeah, totally. Thanks a lot.
First time I've seen his hat off.
Come on, show some appreciation.
We didn't need your help. Thanks.
I didn't do nothing.
Thank you for helping us, and for sharing what you know. That was really nice of you.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
Just don't come here again.
Too late. Man, that wasn't even that bad. Dude, I'm drenched in cold sweats. That wasn't even that bad for real. But man, what Aragaki-san told us was shocking, huh?
Oh.
I'll let Kirijo senpai know what we found out about Yamagishi-san. The fact that she's missing is no small matter. We're about to go find her. But the thing is, if we didn't go there, we wouldn't have met that guy again, who's eventually going to be a part of our party. Think about it, think about it. We're totally going to get yelled at for doing that without permission. I can already see it happening. Oh, what are they talking about over here? But you wasn't a good idea together, dude. If Aragaki hadn't helped us, who knows what would happen to us. I'm getting an ulcer just thinking about it. Said I was sorry. I didn't think it would be that bad. Well, now you know. Next time, have a little more faith in what I say. Anyways, there's no way in hell I'm ever setting foot in that place again. Man, we be fighting demons in the freaking underworld. I think you're chilling, gang. Okay, well, no big deal here. We'll just continue on like nothing happened. Yeah, I really need to brush my hair out. I don't think I can work on Saturday. Let's get our courage up. Yo, I don't have enough money? Holy. Oh, I'm so poor. Hold on. I am so poor. Okay. Let's just go study then, bro. I would have popped Persona and slimed them. Exactly, bro. You just pop your Persona. There's also 3 of y'all. That dude doesn't even look intimidating for real. Like, what are we on about? Hey! Finally! Above average academics. Okay. Yeah, I need to put some... I need to comb my hair out, bro. This is way too tangled. It's really bad. It's really bad, chat. It's really bad. This one. It's Sunday. Wait, can we go talk to Sun? I got a text message. Yeah, I think I'm good off talking to you, bruh. Dejar. So I can hang out with her, or yo, Voltaire.
Oh.
We were just talking about you. Let me introduce you to Amada. Nice to meet you. My name's Ken Amada. I didn't get Gekko Elementary School. Nice to meet you too. Be friends with him, alright? He's a good kid. When he drives by the shrine pretty often. Close to our dorm, you know, so if you ever see him, say hello, okay? Okay? Where's Sun at? Voltaire! You lie! Okay, well, I'm gonna just go spend time with the hermit, Maya. Oh. You told her to run away, no? No, that's not the Sun. Sun is the guy with the gray hair. That was, Hanged. That was Hanged, I think. Let's hang out with Maya. Oh, we're in the dungeon. I see Maya. You chatted with Maya for a while, the bondage is growing. Bro, ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. It's gonna take forever to level her up.
Oh.
Ooh, gonna require your assistance. If you have any urgent affairs, I suggest you settle them by the end of today. Okay, well, it's already evening, right? What y'all got going on today?
Hey.
That guy looked kind of scary, but he was actually really nice, don't you think? Yeah. Well, you can't judge a book by its cover and all that, but what was he doing at that place? It's a good question. You feel me? I like your outfit today, by the way. Come on now. Come on now. Can I work? Can I work today? Or should I just study again? My hair. It's so bad. I got $300 to my name, bruh. I'm getting absolutely nothing done here right now. Okay, we're just gonna study again. We're literally just gonna study again. Actually, not yet. I might be able to buy something finally from the station again, because it's a new week. I think every Sunday they restock. Every Sunday is a restockage. Yeah, there. Oh, that's how poor I am. I have nothing. I physically actually can't buy anything. Okay. Why is everything so freaking expensive? Oh, I should have studied. Oh well. I'm actually not life maxing right now.
Yo.
Sup? We're supposed to gather in front of the faculty office during lunch. What's this about? Fuka, I'm assuming? Serious? We're supposed to ask about Fuka, remember? But asking Mr. Ikoda for an explanation sounds like a total pain in the Is it so lame, especially after going to that spot behind the station at night? True. I can feel that.
Oh, Kirijo-senpai. Why are you here?
Same reason you are. Mr. Ikoda, I'm here to ask you about a student named Fuka Yamagishi.
No! Please, I never thought it'd turn out this way. Fuka.
What do you mean?
Hey, I remember you.
What did you do to Yamagishi?
Hold on, Kirijo-kun. This isn't an interrogation. Stop scaring me.
Never.
Yama, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. You wouldn't want to give her the wrong idea.
Fuka, she always looked so frazzled whenever I gave her a hard time. That's when I realized she may be a model student, but deep down she's just like us. And because of that, I knew exactly which buttons to push.
Man,
I was
F
messing
you.
with her earlier that day too. It was May 29th.
Messing
I took
with
Fuka
her.
to the gym and locked the door from the outside.
Wait, what? You trapped her inside?
That's messed up.
That night, Maki got worried Fuka might commit suicide, so she went back to the school by herself, but she never came back. And the next morning,
She was found lying outside the front gate.
I went to the gym to let Fuka out, but the door was still locked. So I opened it and went inside, but she wasn't there. We all freaked out. Starting that night, we went out looking for her, but every night, another one of us wouldn't come back. And then they all ended up like Maki.
You're next.
I see.
That's why you don't mess with
Mr.
people,
Ikoda,
bruh.
all this time you've been reporting Yamagishi as absent due to illness. But the truth of the matter is that she was missing. You had to have known this. Explain yourself.
I was thinking of the students, of course. You children may not understand, but we have to consider the future of everyone.
Persona and she gets slimed out. Facts.
So you chose not to
Persona.
report a missing child for the good of the class.
L
and
teacher,
not
bro.
because you didn't want the police involved.
Get him fired. It was in her best interest. I wouldn't want her records to be stained by something like this. Her parents agreed.
What?
So to protect your career, you ignored your responsibility as a teacher.
L teacher, bro.
Despicable.
Ooh, that's a good word.
I didn't mean, I was just...
That's enough. You can go now. We'll handle
Imagine
the rest.
getting talked to like this by a 15-year-old.
But...
Don't worry. This won't be the last you'll hear of this.
Ooh.
About your friends.
I just took a
Did
big
you
chunk
notice
of my
anything
hair off.
unusual about them before they went missing? Anything at all?
A voice. A creepy voice.
Fuka!
They all mentioned it right before they went missing. They said they could hear it, calling their name.
Yep.
Oh, man.
W Fuka.
Senpai, could it be?
It's them, no doubt about it. Up until now, we've never been able to predict who exactly would become aware during the dark hour. This voice must be the key. In other words, it doesn't just happen randomly. They actually get drawn in. I realize now, after seeing all of this, they're clearly targeting humans. Shadows are most definitely the enemy of mankind. Stay at our dorm tonight. That should be the safest place.
Nah, F
If you hear
her.
the voice, tell us immediately. And don't leave your room no matter what
You
happens.
bully.
If you can manage that, you should be fine. Don't worry. Yamagishi should be all right as well.
Fuka.
Man. That was
Iori
good.
and Takeba too. We'll meet after school in the student council room to discuss tonight's operation.
Man.
Tonight?
Hey guys, how's the life of a Persona user going day by day as an ordinary student? It's pretty good, but F this brunette girl here, bro. We don't need to protect this bully. F this bully. F this bully.
Yes. We are going to rescue Fuka Yamagishi.
Let's do it.
My guess is right. She's still inside the school.
Understood.
Boss fight? Incoming?
Good. You're all here. Tonight, we're infiltrating the campus. Our objective is to rescue Fuka Yamagishi.
I don't get it. Are you saying Yamagishi is inside the school somewhere?
And why are we doing this at night? At midnight?
Can't wait
this
for
place
Thursday.
turns
What's
into-
happening Thursday?
Exactly. That's how Yamagishi wandered into Tartarus.
Wait! You mean Yamagishi-san's been over there ever since she got locked in the gym?
That's right.
That was 10
GTA
days
6
ago.
pre-orders?
No matter how you
Oh,
look
you
at
think we're
it,
getting a trailer for that?
she's gotta be.
Don't lose hope just yet. Tartarus only appears during the dark hour. So where does it go for the rest of the day?
It doesn't exist.
That's a good point.
This is just a theory. But I think time flows differently in Tartarus. So even though it's been 10 days for us, it could have only been 10 hours for her. There's a
Ooh.
chance she's still alive.
Let's go.
Wow, you think
Hopefully.
so? But
Let's
wait,
see.
isn't the dark hour?
I'm
pretty
excited to see a
beautiful?
gameplay trailer.
Even
That'd be
for
pretty cool.
us. How could she last 10 days worth in there?
That is true. And even if she is still alive, we might not be able to get to her.
Are you just gonna abandon her then?
Holy.
I have an idea. Let's try to enter Tartarus the same way Yamagishi did. We'll go to the gym and wait for midnight. That'll be the quickest way.
Is that really gonna work?
GTA
In all
6
honesty, I can't
overview
say I
trailer
fully
coming
agree with this.
Thursday.
If something
Hope
goes
you-
wrong, you could all end up lost in Tartarus too.
Holy.
I'm not just gonna stand here and do nothing. If there's a chance we can save her, I'd never forgive myself. If you
Facts.
guys aren't with me, then I'm going in on my own.
Now I'm going.
Senpai?
All right. We know it's risky, but we also can't just leave her there.
Right. And we won't know until we try.
Facts.
Guess we're sneaking into the school then. In that case, I've got just the thing.
You do?
Ba-da-ba-da. Da, 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 da.
No answer. This is a problem. I can't get a hold of the chairman.
Well, that's not a big deal, right?
There is one issue. Without the chairman's help, I'm not sure how we can get inside the school.
No need to worry. I've got it all set.
All set. An explosive? All right. I'll let you handle this.
There's no time to waste. Let's go.
An explosive. I don't know.
An actual explosive?
No.
W running with the lurk.
All I did was unlock a door.
Yep, before school.
We got in, no problem. Man, I'm a genius.
But it in.
Is there really something to brag about here?
Dun, 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 dun.
So you unlocked it earlier. Très bien.
Oui, good job. We should find somewhere to get ourselves ready. Your classroom should work, right?
But it in. But it in.
Trey Ben? Is that French?
I think that means very
Why are
good
they
or
talking
something.
different languages anyway.
Can we turn on the lights?
Aw, you scared?
No, I'm not. Stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, that's uncalled for.
Quiet! We need to get started. It's better for us if the lights are off. They cut the power at night anyway.
I don't really like sneaking around.
Man, you already knew we
First,
was
we
gonna
have to
do
find
this.
the key to the gym. It should be in either the faculty office or the janitor's room. You three check the faculty office. Akihiko and I will take the janitor's room. After that, we'll meet in the main hallway on the first floor. Understood?
All right.
So, we're searching the faculty office, huh? Hey, maybe we'll find some test questions.
Maybe I should go to the faculty office too. It sounds interesting.
You're not planning to do something unethical under my supervision, are you?
I mean, we
suppose
broke
you
into
need
the
to
school already.
Hey, come on! Obviously, I was joking.
We already broke into the school. That's already bad.
All I meant by interesting was that there's a higher chance of finding the key there.
Enough with the excuses. Let's head to the janitor's room. Iori, you're coming with us.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this over with.
I get alone time with Takuma. Come on. To the faculty office. I should head to the faculty office. Okay, that's down below. Oh, what's this light right here? Yeah, look at the mirrors. That was definitely not in the original Persona 3.
Do you hear something?
Alone time. Boss fight? Fuka.
What? There's someone else here? We gotta hide.
Or is that, it's gonna be the beanie dude. Or late night security.
It was just a security guard.
Let's hurry.
I know.
Holy!
My phone.
Keep it down!
No.
Jeez,
And of
Takuma.
course, it's just spam.
Holy.
I mean, that would freak most people out, right?
Hell no, it
They
wouldn't.
just rang out of nowhere.
That was so cute, W flirt.
What? That's not funny, you know.
Imagine getting scared at a phone. Okay, let's go. Holy. Was that Riz chat? Is that W Riz? Am I rizzing her up? Come on now. Am I rizzing her nicely? Yes. Ho ho. I'm the rizziest. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the faculty office. It might be a good time to enter. Enter!
No.
Getting so much alone time with her.
I can
Holy.
barely read these.
They just leave all the doors unlocked? I don't know.
What does it say on this one?
I don't know. Gym.
Really? Let me see. Yeah, this is it. I'm sure they won't mind if we borrow this.
What the fuck?
Okay, let's go. We're supposed
Holy
to meet up
A.
with everyone in the main hallway.
What does this one say? How about we like look at it? I don't know. Head to the main. Oh, they're already here.
Did you find the key?
I'm not gonna lie. This whole segment is kind of like a waste of time. We like don't need to like play through this part.
Sure did.
You know, I heard a scream that sounded kind of familiar.
Huh?
What did it do?
Wait, you actually did? I was just kidding.
You want to take this outside?
Holy.
Guys, come on.
All right, we'll divide into teams again. 3 of you will enter Tartarus, and 1 of you will remain outside with me. Once the Dark Hour begins, I'll pinpoint Yamagishi's position.
Wait, why 3?
I'm going in. You come too. You can take the lead as usual.
Yo, I gotta bring Junpei with me. They all strapped into school? Holy fuck. Yeah, bro, imagine.
Wait a second, Yucatan. Remember how I accidentally
Imagine
screwed up
getting
on
caught
Mia?
looking like
Give me
this.
a chance to make up for that.
Oh, come on. It's not always about you. Besides, you didn't accidentally screw up.
All right, Junpei, we'll give you another shot. And with that, the teams are set.
Sweet. Thanks.
What?
What's wrong, Takeba? Do you have a problem staying with Mitsuru?
No, it's fine.
It's almost time.
Let's go.
This night makes sense why some people would be annoyed with her. But she's not like bad. Oh, she's awake.
That's right. I guess I'm alone after all.
Go to bed.
Fuka.
I don't know. Don't say her name. Oh, yeah. Come get her. Come get her. Right now.
I don't want to hear this.
Calling me. I have to go to school. Tell her I'm sorry. Fuka.
So,
We still haven't heard back from them. The transmission range is at max, too.
I hope that girl Moriyama is okay at the dorm.
Unfortunately, no place is completely safe in the Dark Hour. But we couldn't risk bringing her here. And having one of us stay behind to watch her wasn't an option either.
Why couldn't we risk bringing her here to be around
I
us so we
guess
can
so.
protect her? I feel like that doesn't make sense.
Well, we are all
I need
here
a
for
haircut
Yamagishi's
badly,
sake.
chat. Look, I have no edge up.
I'm here. I've confirmed your position. You're higher up than I expected. You're barely in communication range. Is everyone all right?
I don't know. Got separated.
Akihiko! Come in, Akihiko!
We got separated.
Is he out of range? That's worrying.
Well, time to 1v1. No, my head. It's like I fell in here from somewhere. How did that even happen? I must have lost consciousness. Time to find Fuka, baby. Come on, Fuka, bring her home. I don't see Sonata or Junpei. Yep, here it is.
Are you awake? This is the first time we've spoken outside of your room.
That's not true. We've spoken at the front desk. That's bad voice lines right there. That's not true. Where are the others?
Don't worry. You'll see them soon. But we don't have much time to talk.
Okay.
Tonight, there's more than one ordeal you must face. You should
Okay.
hurry. She's waiting for you.
My girl
You guys
Fuka.
will need her.
Okay.
See you. I hope we meet again.
Okay.
Are you alright? It's too hot. I can't find any backup.
Does that mean I don't have a map?
I'm sorry. Find Akihiko and the others.
Okay. Communication has been lost. No, I still have a map. So I'm chilling then.
Akihiko and the others are on this floor.
Who's there?
Fuka! I don't want to fight anybody because I'm by myself. Kind of a waste to burn all my stuff on one person.
What's your current location? Reply immediately.
Man, I can't hear you.
Human?
Wait. Oh, I'm so sneaky. Okay. Well, Fuka's not here. Holy! I'm so elusive. Okay. We just gotta make it to the next floor, probably. Maybe 2 floors up. Run for it! Okay, next floor.
Where am I? Why am I here?
I'm coming, Fuka!
Answer me.
Don't worry, Fuka, I'm coming.
Is someone there?
Yes, Fuka, somebody is here. It's me! I'm actually excited to meet Fuka. A lot of people were saying Fuka's like really nice.
Please answer me.
Ooh, another chest, baby. Got the alert going, Papa. All right, Water. How you doing, gang? How you doing, gangy? Okay, so I'm guessing the side on the right isn't important. Educated guess. Can you turn around, please? Yo, you're still coming in this direction. Wrong way. Okay, I need you to turn back, please. Turn back! I'm out of here. I'm out of here. The floor of truth. The floor of justice. Oh, there you guys are. How we doing?
Hey, here he is. Man, we were worried about you.
Ha! Sorry about the wait.
I don't think we should enter Tartarus this way again.
Oh yeah. Did you hear a voice on your way here? Yeah, kind of like...
Who's there? Are you human?
That's it. That's the voice. Wait, didn't that come from behind us?
Hey, you! Hold on.
Are you Fuka Yamagishi?
Yes.
Wow, you're alive! That's awesome! Never fear, the heroes are here.
Let's go. Let's see what her power is. I'm excited, actually.
Okay.
I'm excited to hang out with her.
Thank you so much.
Ooh.
Yes, I'll be fine. Sorry, I'm just so relieved.
Holy.
Looks like I made the right call then. I'll see if I can contact Mitsuru.
What is this place? One second I was at school, and then...
It's kind of a long story. We can explain after we get out of here.
Mitsuru, can you hear me? No good. All I hear is static.
Gotta find our way out. Come on, Fuka!
You heard anywhere?
Activate her persona.
Probably seen the monsters wandering around, right?
So, there is something dangerous in here then. I've gotten by without them finding me so far.
That's very lucky.
Wait.
Plot armor.
You've avoided them this entire time? How is that possible?
It's hard to describe, but I can sort of tell where they are.
What do you mean? Are you saying you're psychic or something?
She has the same power as Mitsuru, actually. She might be even stronger.
Hold on.
Mitsuru's persona was always more combat-focused to begin with.
Persona?
Hang on to this.
Yeah, shoot yourself with this gun real quick. You see what happens.
Huh? Wait. Is this a gun?
Think of it as a lucky charm. It doesn't actually fire bullets.
Okay.
All right, let's get out of here.
Whoa, check out the moon. It's huge. I don't think I've ever seen it so bright.
There's some research that indicates the shadows are affected by the phases of the moon. Although the
It
same
is a full
thing
moon.
is true about humans.
That would explain Yucatan's mood swings. Hey, wasn't it a full moon the night we went to the monorail?
Hmm? It was.
Is something wrong?
Hey, did you see the moon on the night the dorm was attacked back in April?
It was full. I don't know.
Today is June 8th. The monorail incident happened on May 9th.
No, my immersion.
And the assault in the dorm was on April 9th. They were all on a full moon. Mitsuru, are you there?
Akihiko, shut those arms.
We're about to see Fuka's persona.
You hear me? Mitsuru, come in.
Let's go.
Mitsuru? Mitsuru!
What is that? It's much bigger than the others. And it's attacking someone.
Someone.
Damn it!
What the hell's going on?
Oh, that brunette girl cat in there.
It's one of them. If my guess is right, they come every full moon. We've gotta hurry.
The big one, big boss.
Hey, wait for me.
Oh, this is why they said for one of us to stay behind.
What?
Because it's gonna they want to introduce Fuka's powers, so we had to leave behind freaking Takaba so that we can see. Okay, interesting.
There's two of them? Mitsuru! Takeba!
I should be chill if we all fight.
What's going on? Nothing's working.
I mean, wind doesn't work.
The shadows away.
Yeah, I'm on it. Hey, if it's a fight you want, then you've got it.
Akihiko, be careful. Normal attacks don't work on them.
What that mean?
Hey, what the?
Ew, get out of here!
Fuka.
No, what are you doing here?
Moriyama-san?
Hey, come back!
Whole bunch of baloney, bro.
Please get out of here. It's not safe. I had to tell you. I'm sorry.
Okay, now get out of here.
Look out!
Persona!
Protect her.
The storytelling in this game isn't as good as Persona 5. At least up to this point. Ooh. Hold on. Is she level 20 or something? Yo! Persona. Defensive barrier. Domain expansion. Star Platinum.
Yamagishi-san?
Hold on.
A persona?
I can see. I can see these monsters' weaknesses.
What?
Can it be?
Just as I thought. Mitsuru, let her take her place. We'll handle these guys.
Ooh, I like this song. Hold on.
I'll begin searching for the monster's weaknesses.
I thought you said you could already see him.
Please, give me some time.
Okay.
What to do?
Let's see.
The best bet would be.
Go, Polyjuice!
You take this.
I'll go with.
Maybe some wind in here? Some wind action?
What to do?
Nah, it might be ice. It's blocking that. Do 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 do. Boy, that was kind of tough.
It's done. I can start the analysis at any time.
Okay, go ahead.
Please tell me when to activate.
Right now. Sorry for cutting you off. Right now. Press that while on the analysis screen to use Fuka's skill full analysis. Do so to deplete her SP. Okay, carrying out a full analysis will reveal the enemy's weakness. Use it to battle more effectively. Note that a full analysis can only be done after everyone, both allies and enemies, have ended their turn in the first round. Okay? What?
I didn't know I had this kind of power.
How's the P3 gameplay? Pretty good. It's pretty good, Nick.
It's just what we'd hope for. It's even
Okay,
more
so that's the one thing that we need. And then you're weak to lightning.
Now's my chance. It's all yours.
I think I have slingshot on one person. Nice. I don't have a single thing.
Not that.
You're Nolta. I can't even fight this dude. Are you? Guys, I literally can't win this fight. It takes negative damage from everything. Are you? Bruh. I literally can't fight this person.
He's gonna win this.
Let's go!
The enemy's aura has shifted.
Oh, well, that's good.
Infinity.
step at a time.
Holy!
I'll go with
Let's see.
Yes!
what to do.
I think we should just continue to fight this one, right? Holy!
There.
I'm good to go now.
Oh!
Not bad, huh?
Do. Why? Okay.
Eye up.
Go for it!
Go for it!
One step at a time.
Come on, baby!
Can't slow down now.
Here we go. Okay, now we're cooking a little bit. Oh, I can go again? GG.
You mind?
Baby.
The enemy lines are broken.
Let's go! And then I need to heal. I need to heal the main character. For sure. Okay, the both paradigm shift, I can heal.
Hey, I can see the enemy's weakness now.
Okay, that's good.
What's next?
So Valkyrie's at 12 strength, and then you have 15 strength. We're gonna use your power slash.
Come on, I'll show 'em.
It's all you.
Why?
What's next?
We just gonna keep hurting you till you die.
One step at a time.
And since I don't have anything to actually hurt you, I think I'll just heal everybody. Oh yeah.
This will do the trick.
Oh yeah. Whoa! Well, let's just finish you off, bud. What?
Let's see. Let's go.
Get out of here. Oh, he's gonna revive her. I can feel it. Fire.
I'll give him hell. Hell yeah! Let's do it!
Let's go. Do you have a fire item? No fire items. Okay, that was like no healing, but it's all good.
Not like this. Let's see. Here we go.
And then he has the fire, and then we can have a better all-out attack against him with his fire.
Can't stop.
Lock in! Let's freaking go! He's still not dead. Nice.
Let's get a win this.
You're not killing my friends. I was. Are you trolling? Why would you ever do that? Jack-o'-lantern, finish him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, level 17, baby. That was pretty good. So you actually can't play with her. She just, you can analyze people with her. Makes it a lot easier to fight people in the higher floors, which is pretty good, I'd say.
Don't worry. It's over.
Fuka. You...
I like Fuka's outfit. It's pretty clean.
Are you okay? Yeah. Thank goodness.
Holy. She's been fighting it for a while.
She's just exhausted.
Fuka.
Where did those two shadows come from?
Somewhere outside of Tartarus. Just like with the dorm and the monorail.
Outside, huh?
What are we gonna do about Moriyama-san? She knows about the Dark Hour and the shadows.
It doesn't matter. She's not like us, so she won't remember anything that happens in the Dark Hour.
That's
The good
crazy.
news is she
That's
didn't fall victim to
convenient,
the
too.
shadows despite hearing their call. So I don't think she'll get drawn in again. She's safe now.
Wow, how convenient that everything works out.
Yamagishi-san saved her life? That doesn't seem right.
Actually, I get the feeling that things will work out.
I'm sorry, Fuka. I'm so sorry.
It looks like she's learned her lesson.
But she's not gonna remember. She's not gonna remember. She's not gonna remember. We managed to rescue Fuka. The mysterious boy appeared again. His warning don't seem to just be just dreams. But I can't make any sense of it right now. I feel way too exhausted. I should get some rest as soon as I get back to the dorm. I mean, I think Persona 5 has better storytelling. Like, everything here is just like very convenient to like fit. But Persona 5 actually, yeah. People that were glazing this saying is better than Persona 5 are trolls, actually. Yamagishi, at least right now, Yamagishi and Moriyama are recovering nicely. They're released from the hospital in the next few days. That's good to hear.
Precisely.
Yes, it is. We will need to invite Yamagishi to the dorm and explain what happened. Considering that power of hers, we could definitely use your help. Thanks. Let me hang out with Magician one last time, please. One final time?
Yo.
Hey, sup, I'm gonna head out soon. How about you? Let's do it. This is the last time I'll ever hang out with you, please. I don't think our bond will grow any stronger even if I spend more time. Whoa. Wait. Voluntary, what does that mean? Does it mean I shouldn't hang out with him right now? Like, wait for a different date? Or is it just saying for right now it won't grow?
What's up?
I can't hang out with her either. I mean, what else am I gonna do? Don't really want to hang out with anybody else.
Yo.
Is this a waste? I don't know if this is a waste. Let's hang out then. Or maybe he's just saying like, well, that doesn't even mean, so we're not even gonna get closer to him next time. Do I just wait to hang out with him? I want to get him to level 10.
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you. Wonder if she'll be all right. I need to work. I don't think I got any money from that. Actually, maybe there's some stuff I can sell. So we're gonna go sell some things.
By the way, what'd you bring? All done here?
What?
Be seeing you.
Did I not pick up things from? Okay, hold on. Let's see what items I picked up from that boss. Oh, okay. That's cool. Alright, let me go make a little bit of money. Let's go make some money. Nice. Nice. Bam, 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 bam. Okay.
Hey, so
I was thinking, do you think Kirijos said Yamagishi because it was the right thing to do, or was it because she's a Persona user and we need her? She has good intentions.
yeah.
You're right. Well, I guess it's really up to Yamagishi whether or not she joins us. Sorry to bring this up out of the blue. It's all good. Just don't let it happen again, please.
Our next topic.
Ooh, I can stay awake.
What?
We're maxing everything out. Yo. Academics? Yeah, there. Come on, let me hang out with him. Bruh. It's like on Wednesday, I can't hang out with anybody. Whoa, never mind. Never mind. Hey, Yuko.
Hey,
Yo, my bond's not bonding with anybody. Let's just do it anyways. And then hopefully we can meet up with Sun. Okay, so next time my bond with her will actually grow stronger. It's getting dark. This is good, this is good, this is good. What's up, dude?
Hey, listen.
Y'all just be yapping. Y'all literally just be yapping, bro. Okay, now I can actually buy the SP from here. And then we can go work at the thing again because it's Wednesday. But then the rest of the week I can't work. I'm being so efficient right now, chat. Some would say too efficient. I'm life maxing so hard right now. But I wonder if Tartarus has gotten any like bigger since we just beat those two guys. It might have. I don't know. Money! Come on now. Come on now. We gotta be leveling up soon. We gotta be leveling up soon. Gotta be. Oh. From Sonata. Sorry for notice Yamagishi's being released from the hospital today. We all need to talk to her together. Come into the command room when you get back to the dorm. Okay? Does that mean I can hang out with anybody? Yeah, there.
Yo.
Bruh. Okay, she's not in the hallway today. So on Wednesday she's available. It's Thursday. I just need to get through with Kenji and then we're... Okay, I think I hang out with him a little bit. And then the next time, things will get better. Gotta hang out with him a bunch of times. Yes! Okay, next time is the finale of me hanging out with this gooner. Come on now. Fuka's joining the squad.
So, you're Fuka Yamagishi-kun, right?
Yes.
Relax, there's no need to be nervous. Go on and have a seat.
Okay.
I just want to quickly mention that everyone did an excellent job uncovering the truth. And one other thing to report. I've heard that all 3 girls have regained consciousness.
Good.
That's great news.
From what I understand, they each came to the school around midnight and waited for the security guard to leave.
I think the moral of this little arc here is that you don't bully people because it could come back to hurt you. Karma. It's like teaching you karma. But I think if you're a little kid playing this game, you won't really understand that. And you'll just be like, man, I wish they would have stayed unconscious for being bullies to Fuka.
Then, once the dark hour began, they were attacked by shadows near the gate. Because of the situation's similarities to an old ghost story, rumors naturally spread quickly.
I knew right from the beginning that it wasn't a ghost.
It's all my fault.
What? Where'd you get that from? You were the victim in all this.
But all of those rumors started because I was absent for so long.
That's totally not your fault.
I don't think we could have won that fight if you hadn't been there. You saved our lives. That's not something just anyone could have done. Take pride in that. You have a special power that you can use to help others.
A special power?
Good persuasion tactic.
We call it Persona. Right now, our group absolutely needs your abilities. Can we count on you to help us?
Holy persuasion.
Are you asking asking me to join you?
That's right.
Kiricho-senpai.
We won't force you. Oh, come on now. Make her feel mad comfortable. Oh, she said,
I think you'd make a good addition
come on
to the
now.
team, too.
Sanada-senpai.
You know we're not trying to pressure you. So if you need some time to think about it.
I'll do it. It would be my honor.
What? Are you sure? If you do join, you'll have to move into the dorm.
That's fine. I'd rather live here than at home anyway.
Thank you. We really appreciate this. We'll have the school talk to your parents to resolve any issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Aren't we dragging her into this a bit fast?
It's okay. Really.
One other topic I'd like to discuss is those special shadows. We had another encounter this month. While we still don't know where they're coming from, I do believe Sanada-kun is right. They seem to appear alongside the full moon. This, at least, will help us plan for the future.
So, the next full moon is showtime.
Showtime!
Knowing when to expect them is a big advantage for us. Now, on the day of the fight, we'll be ready to get in the ring.
I cracked that and break her heart in the same 20 minutes. You talking about Fuka? We figured out the pattern for when the special shadows appear. Or at least we think we did. Come on now. Is this what the mysterious boy was trying to tell me? I should start paying attention to the moon phases. I don't give a Fuka, okay? There it is. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bam. Okay. Marvelous.
I'm looking for. Are you accepting a request? Let's hear the result.
Okay. Ooh, chewing.
I will await a report of success.
I wonder if I missed any.
Very well.
Very well. What we got in here? Look up in the sky, asking now why. We gonna get that charm up. 2 more ranks and then it's maxed out. And then I never have to worry about it again.
Morning.
Hey, what do you think of Yamagishi? She's very helpful. Not in front of Taka, but come on. That's all you have to say. I mean, yeah, her persona ability is pretty amazing, but doesn't it seem like she wasn't really given a choice in joining the team? Oh, she'll be okay. Yeah, kind of like persuaded the heck out of her.
Hey, did you hear? Apparently, Mr. Akoda's in hot water. Really? What'd he do? I don't know, but I think it's serious. Sexual harassment, maybe? I can totally see that.
Can I just have the world as a persona?
Good morning.
Talking about Dio's stand?
Hey, look! It's the ghost girl! Quiet, she can hear you.
The world!
You're here. Moriyama-san? I heard you started living in the dorms. Yes. You're looking glum today, as usual. Well, if you got something on your mind, you can always talk to me.
No, never talk to her, bro.
Huh. Moriyama-san.
Do not ever talk to that girl.
Stiff. Just call me Natsuki.
No. Don't hang out with her, Fuka, please.
Thank you.
They locked you. No! Yo, this pissing me off. Alright, it's time to shine.
What's up?
I haven't watched JoJo's, but Silver Chariot Requiem has hella aura. Facts. Wait, you need to watch that, Shark. Okay. The final time. Let's go. I'm gonna get an extra large special today and also order a rice bowl.
Another day, another bowl of ramen.
This appearance of soup is a complex flavor that enhances by noodles.
Damn, this really is some bomb ramen. How could I ever leave this city?
Facts, you idiot.
Miss Kano must be in Kyushu by now. I wonder if she had her wedding already.
I'm stealing your egg.
Hey, dude, give that back. That egg's all I got in this world, man. Hand it over or else. Man, it's always a blast hanging out with you. That said, I still want a girlfriend.
I can put on a wig, bruh. Stealing? Yeah, that kind of made him mad. But it's better than saying, hey, the girl that you really liked is probably getting piped right now. You've got this. You don't know when to give up. Want me to find you a girl? You've got this.
Yeah, dude. And you can be my wingman. Let's go pick up some chicks.
Yes!
No. I'm getting off track. I've been doing some thinking after everything that went down. When Emiri left, I was sad, sure, but on top of that, I felt really
That was the
dumb.
best one. Made sense to
Really
me.
love Emiri? Or did
I
just
think it
love
didn't
the
really
idea of
matter.
being a teacher? I thought about it a lot. But I couldn't figure it out. What I did figure out is you're a true friend.
That's right, we're great friends. Are we still talking about love? We're great friends.
Damn it, why do I say such embarrassing things? God, I'm such a dumbass. Anyway, here.
That was not the response. Handmade choker. What? Why would you make a choker just for me, bro? What? Why are you giving me a choker? Freaky frog. What the heck?
I made it for you. Figured you could pull it off. Your fashion sense is kind of, so I wanted to help you out.
We're dressed the
that's what
exact
best friends
same.
do, right?
We're
It's a
dressed the
symbol of our
exact same. What are you talking about? I'm his best friend. W manipulation, bro. I'm never talking to you again, by the way. Feel a strong bond with Tomochika.
I am thou. Thou
Is there
art
a thing on their neck?
the bond thou hast nurtured hath finally matured. The
We did it, guys.
of the magician
We literally did it.
been set free. We now bestow upon thee the ultimate form of the magician within thyself.
Hocus pocus. Let's go. Let's go. Magician social link reached its maximum level. You can now fuse Futsunushi, the warrior god. That sounds pretty good. I don't know how to do that though.
I worked up an appetite acting all weird around you. More eggs, please. Make it 10.
All right. Never in my life will I ever see that dude again.
Welcome back.
What's up, dude? Oh yeah. Here Fuka's moving into one of the rooms on the 3rd floor. But the girls put their foot down when I offered to help, said us guys aren't allowed. Anyways, looks like she'll be coming here pretty early tomorrow. Exciting stuff, huh? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess. All right, more charm, please. Nah, I want to get my charm up, bruh. Yes, sir. Look up in the sky. Wow. Hey. Oh wait, what's happening? I wonder if I should go to Tartarus again.
You've prevailed yet again.
GG, world's ending.
Do you remember what I said before?
No.
About everything coming to an end?
I do remember that, actually.
I recalled something else. I'm pretty sure the end is unavoidable.
Holy. I'm gonna die.
It's kind of weird.
I'm literally gonna
Doesn't feel
die.
that inevitable right now, considering the vast potential inside you. Plus, it seems like your powers changed quite a bit. Hey, if you don't mind, can I be your friend? I'm really curious about you. What do you say?
Yeah, tell me what your name is.
Name? Oh, I see. I need a name. My name is...
Theros.
Theros.
Like, can I start bonding with him now?
Great.
Feel the beginning of our bond with the mysterious boy Theros. Holy.
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou hast established a new bond. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest.
Come on now.
Create a persona.
Death, shivers, and timbers. Holy death, Arcana. Holy death. Wait, how'd you know this was death? Mysterious boy.
Well, it's getting late, so I'm going now. I can hardly wait until the next time we meet. Bye-bye.
Look at the face on her car. Oh. Context clues. It's a school. No, you're right. My bad. My bad. No, you're right. No, you're right. No, you're literally right. My bad. That's literally on me. That's literally on me. Yamagishi will be living in a dorm with us starting today, and from this point on, she'll be providing us with support in Tartarus at night. That means I can start joining battles again. Interesting.
Yes.
You can depend on me, even if I'm a bit slow starting out. Rest assured that I can catch up and you all with no time. I think it was the only tarot card missing. Actually?
Oh, good. You're all here. I know this is sudden, but the chairman will be coming by again this evening. I'd like everyone to gather at the usual place tonight.
He just came by the other day. Something happened?
Apparently, he's prepared some special gifts for us. I know we'll be busy with Yamagishi moving into the dorm, but I'd appreciate it if you could all come by.
Special? Does that mean we can expect something good?
I don't know. This is Ikutsuki-san we're talking about. He's probably just gonna tell us some new joke he made up.
I will say, though, something... Hold on. Yeah, I'm never talking to you again, by the way. Yo, chat. I will say, another thing that I don't like about this game in comparison to Persona 5 is that in Persona 5, there's dungeons. In this game, it's literally just a full moon and then a boss fight. And then it's back to going through Tartarus. So, it's... Yeah, people that say this game is better, like, I'm failing to see how. Like, there's way more stuff going on. I mean, it's older, true, but like, maybe it's nostalgia. People are getting like nostalgia, and that's why they're like, oh yeah, dude. But like, I'm really not feeling that. Level 5. If we go here, older games are just going to be worse 99% of the time. I mean, that's what I was thinking this entire time. But like, everybody was like, nah, this one's better, has better music. No. Back to class. The music, yeah. The music is good. There's actually 2 songs in this game that are just superb. But Persona 5 overall is just like way better. At least as of right now. As of however many hours I have in this game.
Thank you. We only have so much time to train here, so you have to practice on your own if you want to win.
Yeah, we can do that.
Good. And don't forget, know your limits and make sure you stretch properly. Oh, why don't you give them some advice, too?
Show some guts.
Yeah! Guts! Spirit! You can do it. I know you can. Now listen, no matter what, think positive and don't give in to fear. Those kids are going to challenge the 6th graders soon. Apparently, the winners will get to use the schoolyard. Earlier, they asked me to write the challenge letter for them. A little worried, actually. Well, not just about the race, but also about whether or not I spelled something wrong.
Lol.
So,
She's like so not sure.
Age difference really matters when you're as young as they are. You really think they can beat the 6th graders?
It's very interesting. She always asks for my opinions and my thoughts because she's unsure of things herself. Very like specific style like each character has in this game. I like that. As long as we believe in them, you gotta be positive.
Yeah, you're right. A coach has to believe in her team.
I feel like everything I say to her just isn't right.
And they've all trained so hard, too.
I haven't gotten a single triple star.
Fine, right? After all, they learned from us.
Facts.
Why am I feeling so nervous? It's gonna be okay. I'm sure they can win. Come to think of it, I should have asked you to write the challenge letter. I probably should have used bigger words. Ugh, I'll be so embarrassed if those 6th graders laugh at it.
Walked home together. Nice. Oh, she's here.
Yamagishi-san, are you in there?
There's a lot more story now, which is good.
Come in.
Like every day this past 2 weeks has been story.
Huh? You already finished unpacking? I was planning on helping you out later, too.
Well, I didn't have too much with me, so I finished a lot sooner than I expected.
Oh, are you good with computers by any chance? You think you could teach me? I'm really not good with stuff like that.
Sure, if you'd like me to.
Are you looking into something?
Yes. I figured I should know everyone's defining characteristics and whatnot to prepare for battle. I can't do any actual fighting, so I need to make myself useful.
That's nice.
Oh, I see. You're a really hard worker, Yamagishi-san. And you've got an amazing ability, too.
Not gonna lie, I really don't like your haircut.
Everyone in this dorm is pretty amazing, huh? Sanada-senpai is hands down one of the strongest. And our leader has a power unlike anyone else's. I bet Kirijo-senpai is strong, too. And Junpei... well, he's... whatever.
Man, she really doesn't like Junpei.
But what do I have? I'm only half the person everyone else here is. I couldn't even do anything the last full moon. Maybe I don't need to be here after all.
That's not true at all.
Huh?
I was told that a persona is the power of the soul, also known as your other self.
Dang.
That's why I think a person's personality and feelings are reflected in their persona.
Dang. Awakened.
For example, Takeba-san, your persona has healing powers, right? That's because there's a kindness in you that no one else has.
Exactly. She's not evil, she's kind.
I'm not kind at all.
Okay.
I just don't want to see anyone go down or get hurt, that's all.
Alright.
Come on. I think Akutsuki-san's gonna be here soon. Oh, and you can just call me Yukari. I hope you like it here, Fuka.
I'm sure I will. Thank you, Yukari-chan.
Sorry for calling you all again so soon, but I brought something special today. Well, let me just show you before I get into explaining what it is. I'd like to provide you with some new equipment.
What does it mean?
After spending quite some time in development, we're now ready for the battle testing phase. The shadows are getting stronger. You just barely won the last battle.
Not
I can
true.
only assume they'll grow even more powerful still. That's why you all need something more to stay in the fight. From now on, I want everyone to use these during your operations. Combat gear, complete with a matching armband. And your new trump card in the battle against the shadows. Cartridges that enable the use of Theurgy.
Huh? Theurgy?
Theurgy means spiritual magic that could reach the gods in Greek. To put it
Interesting.
simply, it synchronizes with the user's emotions, and when the right conditions are met, allows them to unleash an attack of immense power.
Sounds pretty good.
Oh, you're talking about signature attacks.
Persona 5 got that
Oh,
Luca
yeah.
doo 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 doo
Waiting for
Luca
something
that
like
Jago
this.
tough.
Okay, how does it work?
Luca doo 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 Luca. What the heck is that? Why you saying my Persona name like that? Bro, what? What are you on about? You don't got no Persona? Is that not how it goes? Luca doo 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 Luca. Are you saying like do 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 do? That's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's Persona 5, which is, I think is better than this song at least. But 2 songs in this game are really freaking good.
Well, about that. It's a bit difficult to explain. I think it might be easier if you just try it out for yourselves.
All right.
Hold on. Isn't it dangerous to use something like this without knowing how it works?
Oh, don't worry about that. It's been well tested and determined completely safe. Oh,
Does he know about all this?
Well.
I don't even know. He can't even use a Persona.
Well, I'm
That's
sure
what,
glad
that's what
I
I'm saying,
made it
bro.
today.
There's so many plot holes. Well, not so many, but like the fact that the brunette girl got hypnotized, made it all the way to the school without getting hurt, and then said sorry, and they're like, oh, she's gonna forget about this. And then also they were like, oh, I think she's learned her lesson to not bully Fuka anymore. She's gonna forget about it. How is she gonna learn her lesson to not bully Fuka? Bro, what? No Persona and knows too much. That's what I'm saying. It don't make sense. I'm hating. No, I'm a hater for real.
With Yamagishi-kun joining us, Kirijo-kun can go back
I'm
to
just a
being
Persona 5 glazer.
fine fighter. That means Cease is going to have a new lineup after today. And what better time than now to roll out this new weapon?
Alright, let's test it.
Oh, would you look at the time? I'd like to talk more about this, but I've been quite busy with the investigation into those large shadows. I think we're on the verge of a breakthrough, though, so I'll be sure to let you know what we find out soon. Okay, I'm leaving the rest to you, Kirijo-kun.
And there he goes.
I sort of thought this before, but he's rather laid back, isn't he?
More like careless.
It's fine. We should just give it a go like the chairman said.
In fact, since everyone's already here, now might be the best opportunity. Let's head into Tartarus and try out our new equipment. I've been wanting to get back into the swing of things anyway. And this will serve as a good test of our team lineup with Yamagishi as backup. How does that sound?
Sounds like a pain. Are you freaking serious? Looking forward to this. I don't mind.
Man, This trump card stuff is getting me so pumped up. I'm gonna be all like, take this, Super Ace
I'm coming, baby.
Or something like
I'm a little nervous since it's my first time, but I'll follow your lead.
W lead follow.
All right. We'll go into Tartarus once everyone is geared up.
Understood.
I wasn't geared up. I wanted to go buy something. Yeah, whatever, bro. No, it's cool. No, it's cool. No, it's literally cool. Ooh, cutscene. I wish there was more cutscenes. Holy. Nah, we look tough now. Oh, she looking sick nasty. This game's got cutscene, yeah it does. But not that many. Oh, they're so cool walking slow like this. Holy animation, who walks like that? But this is still tough. Hey! Wait, Fuka looks clean, I'm not gonna lie. I like that outfit.
Oh man, this is awesome. We're like a super elite task force.
I'm not gonna lie. Sonata looks almost the exact same. You can't see him right now because my camera's covering him. But he literally just got like gun, pistol, like ammo holsters. I need to pee real quick. I'll be right back. Hold on. He was max ore already, that's why. That's why he looks so similar. Okay, whatever. I think if I had to rank them, I'd probably go Fuka. I would put Takuba second, maybe even first if she had her hood up on. But then second is actually going to be Mitsuru, then Takuba, then me, the main character, then Junpei, then Kiri Sonata. I'm gonna say Sonata because he looks almost the exact same.
Come on, could you at least wear it like you're supposed to? Oh, but it does look like everyone's outfits are a bit different.
Each one is made to complement our physiques and fighting styles. And we're testing the prototype out on me. But it feels even better than it did before.
It's very light and sturdy. I wonder if it's the same materials they use in the military, or maybe even the ones for spacesuits.
Seems like this armband isn't just for decoration either.
Extra defense.
According to the manual, there are a bunch of different features built into it.
How many?
For example, it can give you a readout of your vitals. What else? There's also a function that notifies you when you can use your theurgy?
Ooh. How do you use it?
Sorry, it doesn't look like there's much information about that.
What?
All I can tell is that you load the cartridge into your evoker to use it.
Then let's make that our objective for today. Make sure to stay alert, everyone. All right, Yamagishi. You're going to be our backup, just like I mentioned before. This time, I'll be joining the rest of you in battle.
I'm going too. I gotta make sure my skills are still sharp.
Me too.
All right. Then including our leader, that will be our team.
Wait, what about Junpei?
Wait, I wanna go too. I was so ready for this. You can't just put me on standby.
We can't go without our leader. You stay here and support Yamagishi.
I would much rather Junpei come than Takeba, because we can heal without Takeba. Takeba only has the wind, but I can use wind. Junpei does massive damage. Gotta keep our ace in reserve.
Oh, really? When you put it that way, how can I refuse? Don't worry, Fuka. Nothing's getting past me.
Okay. There he goes again. Fuka, if it gets too dangerous, just...
Actually, the way Junpei has that jacket around his waist is kind of clean.
Funny. Okay, got it.
Huh? You get it?
Yamagishi, could you scout the area and find a good floor for us to start on?
Okay. It seems different in here from before.
Well, that's nothing new, right?
No, not like that. It seems distorted. It's probably just temporary. I'll try and find a stable floor for us to start on. You can tell that much already? Wow, Fuka.
It could be because we didn't enter the usual way last time. Or because of those huge shadows. We have no idea what's gonna happen in here. Not that I'm complaining, though.
He's so much aura.
All right, let's go.
He has so much aura. Too much, even.
Oh, that new sword looks pretty cool. And this bow I got is really light and looks pretty easy to use. I can't wait to see it in action.
So, the chairman got us all new weapons too, huh? Guess we should be thanking him.
Oh,
he barely
okay.
explained anything, though. Sometimes I can't tell if he's actually helpful or not.
Mid-Sona 6 better be fire. It's peak soda. What you mean Mid-Sona? It's gonna be so much better than Persona 3 and 4. Like, you're trolling.
All of this has been custom made for us. You can
And
tell
it's probably
because of
gonna
the C's
be
mark engraved on everything.
slightly better than 5, probably.
As always, you're in command. And make sure to check the equipment before we get started.
Hey. Do we have it equipped? Okay, well, let's equip things. Magic and agility, but way more. Actually, I think I would rather just keep this. No? I feel like this might be better than this one. Because I don't really use my sword. Yeah, this is LARP. That's actually LARP. I'm not using that. But this is way more accurate. I mean, wait. Yeah, this is better. Crit rate up. It has higher accuracy as well. I mean, it's not that. It's only 4 more damage. With a higher crit rate. Yeah, no. Okay, well, this is actually an upgrade. She has a rapier? Hold on. Hold on, she's kind of clean. Wait, what else does she have? 71 defense. Okay, she's just better in every regard. Okay. She has nothing with her accessories. I don't know what type of ability she uses. I should probably look at that. Wait, there's no point in putting her on anything because she never is going to be in the party with it. Okay, hold on. Persona. She the Bufuist. She has Mabufu. One foe's defense by holy high chance to charm to one foe. Holy. Holy. Okay. Which oh yeah, give her more magic. Yeah. Let me equip some magic on you real quick. Magic band or yeah. And she unlocks Buffalo next now. Perhaps, maybe. Marvelous.
I'm looking for. Are you accepting a request? Oh, yeah. I will await a.
Okay, you're yapping so much.
I will await. Oh, I will await. Oh, I will await a.
That's a lot of things in progress.
Very well.
Okay, let's see if I can make a better persona real quick.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Register everything.
Is overwriting acceptable? I've
Yes.
completed registration.
Okay, fusion.
Have a what kind of persona do you desire?
Okay, they said I can make the highest form of magician, and I
This is your progress so far.
don't know what it takes to actually do that. But it's within one of these. 74. Holy, I'm such a low level.
Very well.
I think we'll just leave for now. I think we're good.
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Let's use the new ability. Nah, Mitsuru looks tough.
Looks like we're here. Yamagishi, do you copy?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you picking up any shadows?
It looks like there's one close by. Be careful.
Let's learn the new thing.
All right, let's head over there and feel things out.
Let's do it. Oh, hold on. Look how tough she look. I'm not gonna lie. I like Mitsuru a lot more in her fighting stance. It's actually pretty clean. She's actually pretty clean.
Honestly.
You're approaching a shadow. Get ready for battle.
I'm ready.
Roger that. I'm always ready.
Leader, are you ready? Then let's go.
All right, let's do this.
Be careful.
Ooh.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm far more in my element here. Let me show you that I haven't lost my touch. Let's go. Take that to layup.
Wait, hold on. I think I might like Mitsuru more than Takuma right now.
This is our chance. Let's wipe them out.
Hold on.
One step at a time. I've got
Okay. Nice.
What to do?
Nice. GG. Restart. Get out of here. Da 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 da. That was so lame.
Looks like everything went well.
Fuka, you were amazing. Great job. Thank you, Yukari-chan.
Well, I didn't do the.
I'll send some enemies nearby. Keep an eye out if you decide to engage them.
I didn't learn the new tactic though.
Them, all right.
I didn't learn the new tactic. Oh wait, these healthy tomatoes are actually pretty good. Anyways. Ooh, Snuff Soul. I like that. I like that.
Do you see any shadows? They should be just ahead.
You don't want to find unhealthy tomatoes, they bad news. I believe it.
Shall I move to strike? Persona!
Now's your chance.
Just knocked down 2 enemies.
Am I up?
Akihiko, I'm counting on you.
Of course. Let's go.
We're actually doing a lot of damage right now. Can I learn the new fighting style, please?
You've been knocked down.
One step at a time.
Probably gonna be on a boss fight. It seems like a good game design to me. Okay, we shall see.
By the way,
Okay, we didn't actually get the third G thing yet. Okay, have you figured anything out on your end? Sorry, still unclear. I'm picking something up during battle though.
I see.
There's no pressure. Just continue your observation. Okay, so we haven't got to it yet, but we will get to it. These look like skulls on the ground. Last one, don't hold back. Oh, let's go. It's gonna be like, OMG, we can't beat them unless you might be a genius game designer. You might know your stuff. Come on, give me a nice enemy. Come on, enemy.
See them. Let's take these guys down.
Yeah, I know ball.
another day on the job.
Shall I move to strike?
Too late for you now.
I'm in.
Now's your chance.
Here we come.
He's gonna win this. Best bet, right here, shadow 10 o'clock direction. Seize the moment, it destroy the nation. Round slow motion, give me motivation. Out now, tear them around, around, spit out. Let's go!
Oh, you're just. Oh, he still hits.
What to do?
Ooh, yeah, it's been the same thing every single time. Da 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 da.
That about does it.
Ridiculous.
Detected. I no longer detect any shadows. All the ones on this floor have been defeated.
Okay, boss fight next floor to learn
It's
Theurgy.
all coming back to me. It would be wise for me to keep battling.
Let's keep going then. Let's head to this.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's do that. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Holy. Oh my, Umugi water? Umugi water? Yo, that is a pretty good item. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, is Aegis good? Mugiwara? Mumara. I don't know if Aegis is like the truth, but I think I'm gonna like Mitsuru. I have a feeling. I really like the way she look in battle. And then this will probably go on Aegis, maybe, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to play with Aegis. Seems like a very playable character with the way she looks.
Hang on. I'm sensing something on the floor above us.
Boss fight.
Something strange.
Is it some kind of powerful shadow?
No, it feels similar to the distortion I felt earlier.
Roger. Let's move carefully and assess the situation when we get upstairs.
Alright, music clap for me. Oh, why am I by myself?
Huh? What? Why is it all dark?
What happened?
Where did everyone go?
Oh, we're about to use our theurgy.
Please, everybody, just stay calm. It looks like you were all sent to different locations on this floor.
That doesn't even make sense. Yo, once again, another, like, we all walked up the stairs at the same time. How are we separated? Anyways.
So they separated us by force.
Unless they just, like,
There's danger lurking.
they didn't have the
in this
budget for the
darkness.
animation for it, I guess.
We need to regroup as soon as possible. Yamagishi, can you guide us?
Okay, I gotta go find everybody.
Why now? Fuka, where should I go if I want to?
Yukari-chan, look out!
Oh, she's about to awaken and be better, maybe. Yukari!
Leader, you're here!
What the? Yo, GG. What the fuck?
Not again.
Yeah.
Everyone's always protecting me. I'm getting hurt because of it.
She's about to level up her persona.
What am I even doing?
Ooh. She's doing her Sakura thing. She's about to grow her hair out instead of cut it.
Yukari-chan!
Fuka, I need you to back me up. I'll hold this thing off until everyone else gets here.
She looking in? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Wait, is this?
That's just very lucky. She really didn't do that much. But hey, hey, whatever. Whatever. This motherfucker just do 8 damage.
Yukari-chan, load the cartridge into your evoker!
Do it now!
I know.
What do you mean I know? Nobody knows how to use this yet. Swap's about.
Now's the time.
Okay, now's the time. Here we go. Holy aura feel. Theurgy activation. When emotions run high in battle, you or your party members will be able to activate Theurgy. Theurgy can be activated on your turn or when your Theurgy gauge is at max. Unlike normal skills, they do not cost. Press R2 to activate your Theurgy. Please note that it cannot be used while you are afflicted with a status ailment. Wait, I gotta wait for the beat drop. Hold on. I didn't read it. Woohoo!
Just one more. Take that.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
That was kind of clean. Yeah, that was kind of cool. That was kind of. I didn't read what it said because I wanted it to feel good with the beat, but that was kind of clean. I'm not gonna lie. She said one more. She didn't miss once. Oh wow, that was pretty nice. I'm not gonna. That was pretty nice.
I'm sorry. It was all my fault.
What was that just now? I don't know.
I don't really know.
Holy.
My body just sort of took control.
I can read the future.
Takeba, leader.
Looks like you both are okay.
Sorry I worried everyone.
It's all right. You did well in handling an unexpected situation.
Maybe we should consider starting over. Let's head back to the entrance for now.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, what you mean?
Good work out there, team.
Bruh.
I'm sorry. I should have been able to navigate better.
Not a problem. You did great for your first time.
I agree. I'm convinced that you're the one we need on support.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Fuka.
I didn't do anything. It was all you, Yukari-chan.
That special attack sure was cool though, Yuka-tan. How'd you do it?
How? I just focused really hard and thought to myself, I have to do whatever it takes. And while I was thinking that, I kind of felt something surging inside me.
The chairman did say the cartridge would synchronize with our emotions.
Right. Although, I'm still not entirely sure how it works. From what I could tell, it reacted to Yukari-chan's strong emotions.
So this weapon gives the user strength beyond their limits when their emotions are heightened?
I don't really get it. But basically, if we're fired up enough, we can really pop off, right?
And thanks to you, Yukari-chan, we have a good idea of how it works. From now on, I should be able to tell when someone can use theirs.
It's all thanks to Yukari. Holy, I'm a glazer.
I didn't do much. I just got lucky. I don't know much more than anyone else.
I'll do more research into how the syncing with emotions works later. Everyone has different feelings when they're fighting, so the timing on when they can use these will probably be different too.
I'd like to give it a go myself, but we should call it a day for now. We can't overwork our leader, and we've got some time.
Our leader? I'm good.
I'm a little worried about the change.
I'm more flexible than y'all.
What if something like that happens again?
Yes. If something has changed in the tower, we'll need to be extra careful when exploring from now on. In any case, we may have had some problems, but we learned a lot today. Not only did we get to test our new lineup and equipment, but we also got to see that we're all improving at a remarkable pace.
Aw, Kirijo-senpai! Quit buttering me up. Just leave everything to Junpei Iori, the soon-to-be MVP.
His name is Iori. I've been saying Lori. I'm so
this,
stupid.
But you literally didn't do anything today.
Yo, why are you? You don't need to say that. Okay, she didn't need to say that to Junpei, bruh. She's just hating. She literally just hating just to hate. Dang, man. Let him be.
This is Elizabeth speaking.
What's up, girl?
I'm calling in regard to a recent change in Tartarus. It seems that a path that had been blocked off is now open. I thought it prudent to inform you.
Prudent.
Well then, I wish you a safe journey.
Why, thank you. Said that the previously blocked path is now open. I should check out next time I go to Tartarus. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A little refresher. I'm good. Ooh, yeah. Da 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 da. That's what it is. It's almost time for a home shopping show. I think I'm good off of the home shopping show. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Wait, when am I able to, Sorry, my brain's farting.
Take your... Please, come again.
What is it? Wait, what? What?
Take your time.
Which one should I buy? What is happening? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? What's that about? I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. I still have yet to be able to meet Sun for some reason. Aha! Who can we talk to here? What's the exclamation marks? Oh, it's her. What is it? Come to think of it, Liz asked me to get a specific item from her. Oh, this is what it is.
In that case.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to like Mitsuru a lot more, but I gotta get my academics all the way up if I want to romance her. I guess since it's Sunday, we can hang out with your girl, Maya. I need another hermit persona to make us grow faster. It's taking forever to grow things without her. Wait, hold on. Yes, yes. Can I go into the Velvet Room right now? I'll do it. I'll literally go in right now. Just to buy a hermit.
Good day. Here are my wonderful. If I have. Of course. By all means.
A fashionable item. So I gotta buy some type of item.
Very well.
Yeah, let me go into the Velvet Room. Let me get the hermit real quick.
Very.
I should have read what she said. Jack Brothers deals medium. Wait, what? Does medium almighty damage to all foes, high chance inflicting down? After summoning a persona, power within gradually enhances. Fusion spells can be acquired by registering certain personas into compendium. Once these conditions are met in the Velvet Room, Elizabeth will inform you of new fusion spells you can use.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Okay, can I talk about what you just did? Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever. No, that's cool.
Registering personas? Is overriding acceptable? I've completed registration.
I too. Well then, shall we take a look? Take all the time.
This persona is powerful.
F it.
Do you wish to inherit?
It appears it will receive a good...
A new power emerges.
Hey, yeah. Holy. Boy, this is actually pretty good. 2 to 4 hits? Oh, okay, wait, that's actually pretty good. 4 hits of torrent shot. Not too bad.
This persona is powerful. This one is somewhat beneath you.
This was somewhat beneath you. Use an 18 and a 9 to make a freaking 3? Never in my life.
This power might be too much for you.
Man.
This power might be too much for
Yeah,
you.
that's whatever, bro. Whatever.
Very well. We look.
I haven't saved this game this entire time. Let's go hang out with Maya real quick. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Okay.
Good. I'm looking.
As you complete more requests, it will start asking you to escort to different places from time to time. You can accompany her to these outlying time during daylight hours. Going out with her will take no time at all, so you don't need to worry about planning your day around her. Nice. I can actually ask her out.
Are you accepting a request?
What? Man, I don't want to take you nowhere. Maybe another time. I gotta go hang. I mean, I guess I could just do it, right? I literally could just do it. Been waiting for you to ask. Shall we be on our way? Yo, what? Does anybody else see her?
encounter with one of your world's exquisite treasures, right out of the blue. So this is the fountain. It makes sport of water, a precious resource and the very foundation of life. Such a sinful form of art.
I would get so tired of hanging out with her, bro.
Heard of its mystical powers, wherein those who offer coin may have their wishes granted.
That's a superstition.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Or perhaps the offerings were far too insufficient to have attracted the fountain spirit's interest. Fortunately, I anticipated this and brought a hefty sum of coins.
Now just give those to me.
2,000 of your 500 yen coins to be exact. I shall make an opening bid of 1 million yen.
No, give that to me.
Oh! I was so caught up in the excitement that I started tossing coins without giving my wish any thought. This won't do. I shall give it more careful consideration before I return here in the near future.
Can I pick all that yen up, please?
What is this facility here? I see there's a gentleman inside with quite the stern face. And these photographs displayed so prominently. Most wanted. Reward? Would it be correct to presume that these are your version of my subjugation requests?
Pretty much.
What do they use as proof that the target has been subjugated? If they truly parallel my requests, then do they require a piece of the body? My interest has been piqued.
Holy.
This edifice over here.
Edifice.
Is this what you call
Holy words.
club? Dancers dictated by the sway
Does
of
edifice mean doorway?
passions. A subterranean garden flourishing with uninhibited desires. Oh no! It's closed right now?
Yo,
what?
what?
A pity. I had hoped to become part of the scene.
What?
Woo!
What are you doing?
Well, that was quite satisfying. But I'm overwhelmed. Everything looks so new and inviting. Everywhere I look, something catches the eye. If you don't mind, could you perhaps recommend our next activity?
Let's go to karaoke. I want to see her sing.
Karaoke. Could it be? It appears the time has come to demonstrate my hidden talents. One may even challenge professional singers at the touch of a button at this karaoke.
W voice acting.
Excuse me. Would you mind waiting for a moment? I hadn't noticed there was a fountain on this side as well.
She's gonna spawn in more money that she won't give to me.
Oh, yet another fountain. On the opposite side. I see. So this place plays host to a trinity of fountain spirits. I apologize for the wait. Let us continue.
Bruh.
Now then, I shall perform a song of exultation for my master.
Exultation?
Sing along if you will. La la la. Oh my. You've never heard this song before?
Yeah, I'm good off of that song.
Thank you for the invaluable experiences you've shared with me today. I consider this mission a complete success. This may sound forward, but I'd like for you to accompany me again sometime.
Let's do it.
Are you accepting a Let's hear the results.
The graceful tree spirit Huapo. What? Huapo? I don't know how good that dude is. That's it.
Very well.
Alright. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
By the way.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Alright, I'll take that.
Hey, hey, hey.
Check it out.
As
long as you need. As long as you need. You finished? Come back soon.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, well, now that I have the hermit, I can go back to my room. Was like there's something else I can buy and then take to the velvet room? But do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yep, Elizabeth wants something from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Here are my. Let's hear the results.
Let's hear the results. Spiked bat.
Very well then.
Okay, we can look at that bat just in case I don't want to forget. Junpei. Plus fear? That's also more damage, but it's less accuracy. That's a lot more damage. Okay, I think we'll end today and then we'll call it. We've actually done quite a bit. We got Fuka here, got Mitsuru here, leveled up, beat a boss. Tartarus is back. I maxed out Magician. We're looking nice and dandy today. I see Maya. I went to the gym yesterday to work out. My muscles are sore, but I'm so buff. There's nothing a little endorphins won't cure, right? Or is it so much pain? Actually, I only went because I was so pissed at that bastard. What bastard? I'm sorry. Have kind of a dirty mouth today. Maya seems embarrassed. What I meant was I was upset because of this guy. Remember that Mr. E guy, the SOB, right? I made a small error on some paperwork and now he's all on my ass. You're supposed to be teaching correct grammar, he told me. STFU, old man. He thinks he's all that just because he's a classic lit teacher? FFS. Doesn't he know who I am? I'm Maya, you old bastard. If Mr. E starts playing this game too, I'm putting him on ignore. You can't talk to him either, okay? Hee. Pwned. Pwned? Oh my pwned. Let's go. Level 6, baby. Wait, I didn't read that. I didn't read that. You probably using an abacus to talk about classic XD Rafflecopter? Rafflecopter? Are we serious? Old game, bro. Much better. Maybe I'll go take a shower now. Blush. Don't worry. I won't let that old geezer get me down, Tatsuya. Maya player signed out. I decided to log off as well. Okay. Once again, I will be substituting for Kirijo as our navigator from now on. Please let me know if you want to go to Tartarus. I'll do my best. Sounds good, Fuka. W Fuka. Anyways. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed that, be sure to smack that like button, bro. I'm having a good time playing this game. You know, I was live for 9 hours, and I still enjoyed the last couple hours playing this game. That's how you know it's a good game. Like, even though I was saying, like, I was comparing it to Persona 5 and saying, like, why I don't think it's as good, it is still a pretty good game. Even with it being, like, an older style, like, it being a not a reimagining, a remake of an old game, it's still really good. It's just, people were glazing it that it was better than Persona 5, and Persona 5 is the reason it's on the map in the first place. So, yeah, we got to put more respect on Persona 5's name, okay? But, nah, this was a good game. It still is a good game. I don't know how far I am in the game, but I'm still enjoying it, and whenever Persona 4 comes out, we are definitely playing that, and we're definitely playing Persona 6. Thank you guys for hanging out, bro. It's been real, and it's been fun, but it has been real fun. Until the next one.